Unlike a lot of people, I don't rush in and make a video about something the moment that I find out about it, because it takes many years to do something justice in education. Just like a doctor doesn't teach people how to get well within the first week, it takes many decades to realize that the medical industry is wrong and that natural medicine is actually more effective. And so rushing in with knowledge is actually the number one way people do injustice with knowledge. And this conversation is around manifesting through trauma, or more specifically, when you manifest, your traumas will come up. And not just within you or in your emotional resonance or something like this, but actually literally in the 3D. You will receive repeated events. Now, obviously, if these things are quite small, you could overcome them very fast. Say if you're manifesting beauty, confidence in your beauty or something. As a woman, you may be ridiculed. You may be told you're ugly or something. If you overcome that, then, and you can very quickly, it's not super traumatic, right? Then you will manifest your beauty. That will be what happens. People will compliment you. You won't have to face that dragon ever again. But when it comes to serious trauma, suffocation, rape, the loss of your free will, being held against your will, these things will repeatedly manifest until you overcome them in your mind. The issue with this is that these things are so traumatic that you get re-traumatized trying to get out of it. So let's go into, say, a man who has been raped by an uncle or something incredibly traumatic. I mean, that's very devastating, right? When this person gets back into their masculine power, they will have something happen to them that feels synonymous with rape. They'll have the extreme loss of masculinity. They'll have the loss of everything they own, or they'll have the loss of their family, or they'll have literally the loss of their actual body. They might experience, cancer or something else that's extremely horrible and obviously traumatizing. And of course, this puts them right back into the state that they were pre the manifestation. I'm here to educate about this because it's very difficult if the trauma is extreme to get past that hurdle. Because what happens if you have immense power in you? And you wouldn't be on my channel, you won't be listening to this if you don't. If you have immense power in you, you will be attacked demonically. You will be targeted. We live in a simulation matrix. We do, okay? So it's super easy for, once you enter that energy field, for lesser entity fields to pick that up and target you. And they're honestly, they're not meaning to. I don't want you to think there's, these people, these so-called demons, are sitting down planning an attack against you. It is a resonance that they are reacting to. And they don't really understand what's going on themselves, but they do feel an energy and they know how to respond to it, but only in a negative way. And the negative way that they respond to it is so that they can steal that power, that energy field that they do not have themselves. And so obviously you have to be aware of this to overcome it. And that is the number one issue in manifestation culture, in law of attraction culture, and just talking about spirituality, spiritual texts. Even if you believe in the Bible, you have religious backing, you can believe in Shiva. It doesn't matter what you believe in, as long as, you understand there's this overarching power and that you can access it yourself and you can create it within yourself. The thing is, these beings will attack you, and they will attack you with the thing that traumatizes you the most. So when you reach, say, your divine feminine power or your divine masculine power, you will be attacked. That period, you will be, okay? Now, if you can overcome this, it will no longer work anymore. And that's the pivotal and most important part I want to teach how to do. So it's a case of, say, when everything has fallen apart and you have felt what feels like a loss of power, I want you to recognize that you have lost that power in that moment, that some trauma has happened to you and you have now lost that power. You can feel that. You were happy and powerful, and now you are sad, crying in despair, your life's ruined, whatever you're feeling. I want you to recognize that, because you no longer have that power, somebody else does. Okay, that entity, that being, or that thing that does not have the power that you have has taken it from you. And that's the whole causality of that situation. So I want you to understand that that has gone elsewhere. It is no longer in you. You know, energy can only be transferred, not destroyed. And what has happened is a transference. However, who made that power? Who worked for that power? Whose power is that? Who does it belong to? You only have one choice in those situations, and it's to go back to your power. Because if not, the other will keep it permanently. And you will have to regenerate this from scratch and then repeat and go through the exact same thing again. Because these beings, these entities can move through people who are weaker or who are going through hardship themselves to attack you, okay? And they will. Because power, energy, is how this whole universe runs. So we have, Wi-Fi, you're listening to audio waves from me right now. Electricity, energy is the dictation of our entire existence, whether or not you can accept this. And this is something that you should begin to program into your mind so that you do actually have this evidence. Oh, wow, there's an enormous amount of intellect, knowledge, and energy that transfers through Wi-Fi. I mean, you can literally change your life just listening to this YouTube video or another YouTube video or another audio. That's a fact. And if you think about that, it's invisible wavelengths that are doing that for you. You can change your reality by outputting the same invisible wavelengths that other people can pick up, because they are like an antenna and they will be like a receiver of that electrical output. But in those situations where you have your power, you've expressed your power into the 3D, and now someone has traumatized you to take your power, again, whether they do it consciously or not, I would argue that 99% do it unconsciously. However, Freemasons do know about this and will intentionally abuse, manipulate, control, and harm individuals to steal their power. There are organizations and groups that do know about this, that do target individuals, and I just want to validate that for anyone listening, also myself, that has happened to. But there are mostly individuals who have absolutely no idea what's going on, but they can feel this resonance, and it makes them mad, angry. They feel powerless, they feel small, they feel little compared to you, and they will abuse you, whatever, cause these traumas to you. Now, when you're in this situation, the way that you can really tell this, I mean, you're going to know what I'm talking about anyway at this point, but let's get a little bit more niche on it, is that you will be able to tell because they say similar things, do similar things. It's like, oh, why does this keep happening to me? Might even come out of your mouth. And this is literally because you haven't overcome this loss of power. If someone else can do X, Y, Z to you and then take your divine power, then you aren't being it. You're adopting it, you're creating it, but you are not encapsulating it within yourself. I could be put in a jail cell with absolutely nothing, no makeup, my hair could be an absolute mess, and I would still be present there as a goddess because I have absolutely encapsulated that energy within myself. Now, that's what I would like to infer to you. Is that if you do believe you are this energy of power, and you are this divine power, then how can someone come along and make you sad just because they hurt, abuse, whatever you? It does not affect you. What they do, even I've been covered head to toe in bruises a number of times in my life because I am a very powerful individual. And in retrospect, I mean, that did not take my power. It absolutely did not. What it did was it validated it. And instead of using that as evidence of, wow, I am a powerful being, I'm actually more powerful than I even realized yesterday, I instead went, oh my God, my life is ruined. I'm so sad, blah, 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 right? Loss of power. So you do have this choice in either moment. So say the man who gets raped when he's younger by the uncle, like the example I gave at the start, the uncle is stealing his masculinity, his masculine power. And instead of that boy because we're not taught this, but I'm just being frank. Instead of that boy recognizing, wow, I have a huge amount, enormous amount of masculine power that even my older uncle is trying to steal it from me, and letting it build more, they become smaller. They make themselves smaller than the demon, okay? And you can't do that. You're not going to win at your manifestations if you allow demons to make you smaller than them. Are you factually smaller than a demon? Are you factually less powerful than a demon? I mean, the truth is no, but in those moments, you won't necessarily recognize that, and then you'll have a loss of power. Now, I'm incredibly good at this. I'm very astute. It doesn't matter what happens to me now. I know that I actually do hold the power, and that I do manifest, and that I've got years of evidence that I manifest, and that I manifest well. And I've been targeted by Masons. I've been seriously assaulted. I'm scarred head to toe by them, but I'm still all the things I want to be. I still look how I want to look, even with the scars and things. I love that. It feels very Odin. It feels very powerful. You know how Odin, the god, the Nordic god, I think, Viking god, he lost his eye in battle, protecting someone and things. And this is exactly the vibe that I had, and I've got the scar underneath my eye to prove that I do stand and protect children and protect what's righteous. And see, that's a beautiful power that I could look in the mirror and I could think, oh my God, my poor life, poor me, oh, I'm a victim when I see the scar. But instead I look at it like, wow, I'm like Odin, the god. And I just want to infer this way of thinking to you, because we're not taught how to think about things. We're taught to automatically go into powerlessness and loss of power and delegation of our power to others that don't deserve it, that haven't put in the hours, the effort, or gone through the challenges we have. I hope that when you do reach that power state again and those traumatic things do pop up, they will, the 3D must manifest them, because in the past they have been the challenge, they have been the reason why you aren't powerful. So they have to re-manifest again for the universe to go, are you over that yet? Have you realized yet that you actually have power in these situations, that you're not actually a victim, that you are like the god that everyone is attacking and blaming and what have you, because you're so powerful? Instead of letting it become more evidence of your power, your divine nature, you instead go into powerlessness. And so next time anything like that happens, it is difficult, because in the moment, you're bawling your eyes out, whatever, you're overwhelmed, you are, excuse me, you're way past, your coping mechanisms, maybe, everything's happening to you all over again, you can't see through the mud necessarily. I hope that you hear my voice telling you that this is actually evidence of your power, that this wouldn't be happening to you. They'd be living a mundane, boring, crappy, mediocre life where no one tries to steal your power if you had no power, right? And so I want you to use it as evidence next time of your power, and then act as though you have that power. Because if you do have that power, if you honestly believe this in your soul, I'm not going to make you believe you have divine power and that you can manifest, okay? That's up to you to do that. But if you truly do believe that, then you need to stand in that no matter how muddy it gets. The lily flower blooms through mud, sludge, dirt, and comes out pure. It comes out pure because it knows. It is beautiful. It is absolutely going to do that. There's nothing, no mud, no nothing on earth that can stop it from looking beautiful. And it'll come out of the water perfect, untainted by its surroundings. And I want you to think of that next time you're in trauma, is that you can be completely the untainted version of yourself, no matter what demons, no matter what entities, no matter what the electricity in this realm is trying to do to you. I don't want to belittle the realm that we currently live in. There's massive amounts of electrical technology being thrown at us every day, all day. The Wi-Fi is not good for us. The people who made the Wi-Fi enslave us, okay? It's not good. We've got radio waves. The same people who enslave us made those. We've got weapons. And when they say weapons of mass destruction, I mean, they're not talking about nukes, okay? They're talking about electrical weapons, and they're everywhere. They're in our food, they're in our water. We've got these chemical concoctions thrown at us every day. But if you honestly can see the truth that you are a divine being that can transmit electrical information immediately, just like Wi-Fi, across, worlds, across literally the world, instantly, I'm in a different country to you, more than likely. I'm definitely in a different place to you. And this is an instantaneous transference of information. If you can actually comprehend that, all of that dissolves. all of this so-called power that these powerless people have is gone. You can actually see why they've put so much effort into trying to control the 3D narrative. It's because actually in the esoteric world, they hold absolutely no power. They need you to manifest their power, and they need to steal yours. So I feel like I did great justice to that by waiting years before I talked about it. And I hope that you understand what I'm saying. If you do, leave a comment. If you think this will help someone, if you know someone who goes through repeated trauma or things like that, do send that through to them so that you can help them. And I hope that you can implement this ASAP to get your power back.